Hello, hi friends, hi students. So today we are going to start our CBSE class 8 basic science syllabus. Okay, so it's our first class in this science. So I would like to give some introduction what is science is all about. Okay, so okay. So we study many subjects like Hindi, English, science, mathematics, everything. A lot of many subjects are there which study in the academics, which we study out of the academics based on our interest areas and on so on, right? So so there are different nature of subjects, and we study specific part into that specific subject. So in science, what we study systematic. What we do is like we study systematic knowledge of that particular subject. That is science. So if we talk about Hindi, English, those are different things which we study just for our. It is a kind of poem, so it's kind of a different study. The poem, the literature, that psychology, those won't come into the science. Science will have some logic behind it, some facts and figures behind it, and there should be some basic fundamental concept behind that topic. Then only it will come into the science. Okay. So this was the definition of science. Okay. Now science have many branches. There were different branches based upon their categories and the nature. So the first will be the study of plants, right? The plants, how many plants are there? How can we reproduce that plant? What kind of outputs of that plant? What can we achieve to that plant? Be it is a vegetable or the fruit, or only the leaves can also be used. Like if you see the tea leaf, okay, so the leaf is also useful of the tea plant. Okay, so that is the nature of that particular. Some plants have different roots which we use in our general routine life. Like if you see the radish, if you see the carrot, we use those are the different root plants which we use in our daily life for our eating. Maybe it's kind of jute plant, then jute can be used for some other purposes, making the threads and so on. Okay, so those are called botany. Okay. Now the second study of science will be the zoology. Zoology means we study the animals, how the animals are created, what is the structure of their body, the body of human beings, the say how many different organs are there in which kind of human body, in which, suppose we are talking about frog, then what kind of different organs a frog has, or something like that, right? So those all details of the science which we study about the body of animal, body of human beings, all those come in zoology. Okay? Now comes the physics. Physics is the study of energy and the matter. Okay, so suppose we are talking about how the car runs, how the body moves, how the rocket ignites, and how the rocket goes into the space, and how does it work. So all those come in this branch of physics. And now comes this chemistry. Chemistry has knowledge about all the chemical related things, like how many basic components are there, electrons, protons, how what is the structure of particular comes into the three states: solid, liquid, gas. How many elements of matter are there? So all those come in the chemical chemistry. And there is one other thing which we can call general science. General science means a discussion of a general topic, like how the earthquake comes, how the how the rain happens. Okay, so all those things, a general kind of discussion will come into the general science topic. It can be a miscellaneous branch of the science. Okay, so coming to the subject of our CBSE class 8, okay, science subject, and we are now studying food production, chapter number 1 of this book, particular book. Let me show that book. Okay, that is CBSE pattern, written by A. Mishra, Mehta, Lahiri, and R. Mohan. Okay, So, so we'll talk about the food and its production. How can we how the what kind of food we take, and how can we produce that food. So this is the two parts of our first chapter. Okay, so what uh, kind of food we eat. Okay, I have one student over here in my room, so he's Karthik here, right? So he will also help me in having two-way communication between me and him. So he will try to understand. He will try to answer my questions as well, so that you people also will grasp whatever the discussion is going on. So it should not be the boring session. So he will give me the acknowledgement. So food, what kind of food we take? So generally we take all. If we study all our food, we analyze all our intakes in the body, then we see that we generally take a food which is given by a plant, right? Like we eat many things. Like we take chapatis and rotis that is coming from the wheat. Okay, and then wheat is coming from a plant. Okay, or be it a vegetable, it's a cereal or pulse or kind of vegetable, kind of fruit, kind of everything. So all those coming from the plants. The second nature of food is coming from animal. Okay, like we drink milk. Okay, we drink milk, we take curd out of it, we make paneer out of it, we create a dish of paneer. So all those things are animal um, oriented foods, okay, which we get from the animals. So one kind of the examples are like milk, right? The milk, curd, and the people who eat non-vegetarian, they can consider the egg as their food, which is coming from animal. And even the non-vegetarian people who eat fleshes, they eat meats and all those things. So those are also coming from the animal. The two categories of food, one is plant and one is animal. Okay, and how to reproduce it. So I said that my chapter name is food production. So food is this, and how will we produce it? Through agriculture. Okay, through agriculture, what we do, we saw bulk number of plants in a field. Okay, in a farm. Like suppose I want to produce wheat in my farm, which is having 2 acres of land or 3 acres of land. So I will add, I will sow 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 of plants there in my land, and I will produce them. Okay, and to support my farming, to support my agriculture, I will have animals also. Like in a conventional Indian agriculture, what we have bulls to support in my ploughing, in my sowing, in my cultivating the fruits, harvesting everything. So a bull is kind of a basic animal which is needed in my agriculture. So in agriculture, I have a lot of animals also, which is also supported in generation of the plants and growing the crops and all. So agriculture is the science which relates with how to grow the plants. Okay, how to sow the seeds in the land, and how to prepare the soil. How we can how and when we should give the water to that plant, and how we should take care of that plant, so that knowing that plant should grow seamlessly, smoothly, and fastly as my needs. And I also take care of my animals like cows, buffaloes, and all those things. These are also coming into the agriculture side. Okay, so but to know few more things like animal husbandry. Animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the subject which is dedicated to the animals. How we take care of the animals. Okay, that is the animal husbandry, and we also call it livestock farming. Farming, we can say to generate something in our farm, right? But it is the livestock farming. So it is live. That means if you call it in Hindi, it is jinda. right? It is live. So stock means something which is live. So suppose I'm talking about the cows. Okay, I have 5-10 cows in my farm, and I feed them grasses and everything, and I take milk from those cows. Okay, so that is kind of agriculture. It's kind of science which is called animal husbandry, in which I study how I can generate more milk from the cow, how should conserve that milk so that it is not get invent, it should not be wasted after 10, 20, 30 hours. Suppose I'm having the 1,000 liters of milk in my agriculture land. I have around 500 animals, 500 cows, and I take 1,000 liters of milk in a morning time and 1,000 liter in evening time. So I should have all those things preserved well, so that I can pass those 1,000 to 2,000 liter of milk to some other place which is far away from my place. Like suppose I am in MP and I want to supply my milk to USA. Okay, so my milk should be conserved and preserved in that manner that it should not go invent before say 40, 50, 60 hours. So those things all will come into animal husbandry and those related food processing things. Okay, so you call it animal husbandry or the livestock farming, right? And one more thing I wanted to tell about. Okay, so these are the basic definition. Now we'll discuss about the crops. Okay, so what is the crop? Do you have any idea, Kartikeya? Do you have any idea what is the crop?
Crop, we can say in the field we have so many plants, and that is all
Okay,
the
so crop is producing a bulk number of plants. Okay, so suppose in I have one home and I have 10 plants in my home. So that is not a crop, it is just a plant. But when I say the crops, I will have a very bulk agricultural land. I will plow many thousands of plants there, so it will be called a crop. Okay, so just generate one suppose sunflower seed here in my home. It is not a crop, it is just one plant. But if you talk about the crop, agriculture crop, then it will be something like this. It will be a long big land of thousands of square feet, and where I will generate where I will produce thousand numbers of thousand
in
and
the
millions.
production. It's called agriculture.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so that is the crop. Okay, so crop can be said in many types. So one can be a food crop. Okay, food crop, that what the outcome of that plant we can use in our food. It can be a fruit, pulses. Okay, fruit, pulse, oil seed can be said. Oil seed means the seed which is used to extract the oil from it, like peanut. Okay, the peanut is what where from we get the peanut, from the roots of a plant. Okay,
And soya also.
and soya and sunflower, all those are oil seed plants. Okay, so all those plants which can be used in food are called food crops. And the second is cash crop, which is not a food, but that crop is also kind of something which we can sell and we can earn the cash.
Like jute, cotton, rubber.
Exactly, right, you're right, very good. Jute or cotton. We cannot eat the jute or the cotton, but we can sell it. That cotton can be used to create the cloths.
Like cunning crops.
Sorry?
Cunning crop.
Yeah, right. You can call it earning crop. So it is called cash crop basically. Okay, which we study in our agriculture, and we how to generate this, how can we produce jute, cotton, and many other things are there. Okay, and okay, and few of the crops which requires a plantation. Okay, like jute, like coffee,
tea.
like tea. These kind of plants requires plantation to produce those crops. Okay, so those are called plantation crops, right? And the last thing I want to describe you about one very important term about the horticulture. Okay, horticulture is a science in which we study a different kind of production of crop. That is, one is the fruit. It can be a vegetable. It can be a flower. Okay, and it can be ornamental plant. Ornamental plant. Like suppose I want to suppose in Hyderabad in India, what the people do, they do the agriculture to generate. You call it in Hindi moti. मोतियों की खेती करते हैं लोग. So those are called ornamental plants. So all they study the science of studying all those different kind of special kind of crops, fruit, vegetable, flower, ornamental, and all those come in. That science is called horticulture science. Okay, horticulture. Only horticulture science is itself in there. Okay, so that was the one thing. So there are different things. One is food crop and the cash crop. Okay, and the third was plantation crop. So let us categorize the crop again. Okay, these were the one categorization based on its use, how we are using it. So one use was food. Okay, so we called it food crop. The second one was to earn the money, so that was the cash crop. But now we can again categorize these crops based on when we sow it, when we produce it. Okay, so based on the season, we can categorize it. So based on this, and this categorization basically found in India. Okay, so the first crop is called Kharif crop, and the second is called Rabi. Okay, so we spell it out as RABI, but generally in general terms we call it Rabi. Okay, and Rabi in Hindi means Surya, sun. Okay, so when we are not dependent on the rain water to do this kind of plantation agriculture and generate the crop, so that in that term we will call it kharif. But where I'm sorry, actually when we are dependent on the rain water, then it will be called a kharif crop, or other in other sense, in half of the year we saw rabi crops. Okay, so kharif is basically based on the monsoon season. Okay, so when we'll sow it in season of monsoon, that comes in June or July. Okay, so we saw that seed or plant, whatever, and when we harvest it in month of October.
And sir, how much time it's take to produce the product?
If you count from June, July, so July, August, September, and October, so 4 to 5 months. Okay, and when this crop comes out and land is again empty, then we can sow the Rabi fasal. Okay, so Rabi fasal can be sowed in October, and when we harvest it, we'll harvest it in March, April. We take that whatever we have produced, like wheat and all, so those will come in the Rabi category. Okay, and in the Kharif category, so in June, July, we generally get the monsoon rains, right? So in this season, we generally sow Kharif fasal, and in Rabi we saw it in October and we harvest in March, April every year. So generally, the duration between May or April or May, that is highly high temperature season, you can say, where the temperature in India is generally 40, 45, or that kind of high temperature is there. So in that, generally farmers are having no work. They wait for the rain to again sow the kharif crops, right? So what kind of kharif crops we have, like cotton, okay, and what many other crops you can spell out? Suppose wheat. Wheat is sown in October, right? Jute. Jute is also sown in kharif season, and any other we can name? Gram.
Wheat.
Yeah, wheat, gram. So all those things are rabi crops, and the other one was kharif. So kharif, you can just remember in the way like rabi means surya. Okay, so there is no rain. We are dependent on our own water resources. So it is rabi fasal, and when we are dependent on the monsoon, that is the kharif fasal. Okay, so these are the two basically categorization of the crop. Okay, so this was the first part of our food production unit, and then next we'll study the other remaining topic of chapter. Thank you. Do share your feedbacks and kindly share your comments and ask anything if you want. I'll be happy to answer those things. Thanks. Thank you.